How far would you go to care for a family member you loved? How much would you sacrifice to make them feel happy? For my father, the answer to that question is everything. Every single day, my father has tirelessly worked to provide for his family and to ensure a better life for his children. His many incredible virtues have shown as both a worker and a father. Watching him leave to work every day for the last 20 years, I've seen firsthand the amount of integrity and devotion he has to both his job and our family. He has set the bar of attainment so incredibly high as a husband, a father, and a human being. And I'm honoring him for those very values in front of all of you today. My father sacrificed so much of his life to secure a better future and upbringing for his children. He left behind his relatives, his home, and his country when emigrating to the United States of America. He did this because he knew that the social and economic opportunities were far more plentiful here than anywhere else in the world. Risking his life, he traveled across the brutal Sonoran Desert day after day, leaving his life into the hands of a stranger, guiding him across to the other side. At any moment, the stranger could have left him stranded in the desert, stolen my father's belongings and life savings, and leaving him at the mercy of Mother Nature. The amount of grit, bravery, and determination alone is impressive to say the least. The United Nations reports that about 10,000 people have died trying to make it to America in the last 30 years, with 500 deaths occurring only this past year. For many, the reward lying in America significantly outweighs the risk of their own lives. If that isn't determination, I don't know what is. Once in America, my father worked various jobs in order to raise capital to secure a home for his future family. Finding and securing a job is difficult, and maintaining that job is even harder. But finding, securing, and maintaining several jobs at once is almost impossible. But that was my father's life. For years, that's what he did. He worked one job, he worked the day shift at one job, worked the night shift at another, came home late and woke up early every single day. The Business Insider found that San Francisco is the most expensive city to raise a family in, followed by New York and Boston, with rent alone in San Francisco exceeding 2.5 times the national average. With those statistics, it is no wonder as to why my father worked as hard as he did. My father maintained this arduous lifestyle at the expense of almost everything else. Because work took up so much of his life, he had very little time to do recreational and social activities, which translated into fewer friends. But never once did he complain. He knew what he was doing was for the greater good, and that greater good being that his kids would be able to live comfortably in ways that he never could in Mexico. According to the PEW Research Center, he is just one of the 44.8 million other immigrants living in America in pursuit of a better life. Immigrants who have also sacrificed so much of their lives for the promises of opportunity and financial stability. All the sacrifice he did was for his wife, for his kids, and his family, because along with being a hard worker, he was also an amazing father. There are numerous skills and qualities one must possess in order to be a competent parent, and my father had every single one. The first thing one thinks of when they hear the words good parenting is the ability to raise a kid to be a morally righteous human being, a human being with kindness, respect, and honesty. My father taught us this primarily through example over lecturing. He was a stellar role model and only lectured us when we really needed it. Through his teachings, I grew up with a strong foundation of values and qualities that I used to perceive both myself and others. Ultimately, I like to think that he did a good job in teaching us these values. Along with teaching us to be morally righteous human beings, a good father must also assume smaller scale responsibilities, including supporting your child through academics and activities. I was lucky enough to have a father who supported me and followed my academic progress very closely. By making sure I always carried out my school responsibilities before anything else, he installed in me a profound value of long-term rewards over short-term gratification. To him, short-term rewards were time-wasting things, such as video games and television, while the long-term reward was a proper education. These values have kept me going through my schooling, plugging away at my work every single day, even in times where I want to give up. My dad was also present at every single extracurricular tournament that I entered in. When he woke up early to drive me to tournaments that were hours away. He waited patiently for hours until my name was called, and he cheered me on from the sidelines when it was my turn to compete. He was there to help me deal with everything, from my injuries to my performance anxiety, to helping me cope with the disappointments of losing. He was there for it all. Let me end by saying this. I wouldn't be here today, standing in front of all of you, if not for my father. His teachings and influence shaped me into the individual that I am today. His incredible sacrifice, his work ethic, and determination has gotten him far in life, and I'm very grateful to have him as my father. He has shown the world his upstanding character every single day, through every obstacle, and in every situation imaginable. Thank you.